Hello, my dear students, and a very warm welcome back. I know, exams are just around the corner and the tension is building up, but please don't you worry one bit. Today, we're going to tackle a super important chapter, staffing, and I promise you, by the end of this session, you'll feel so confident and ready to just ace this topic. So let's make it simple, let's make it fun. Let's start with this absolutely brilliant quote from Mr. Narayana Murthy of Infosys. Just think about what he's saying. A company's real assets, its most valuable treasures, are its people, and they walk out the door every single evening. The whole goal, Beta, the entire mission, is to create a place so great that those brilliant minds want to come back the next morning. This single idea, this is the very heart of staffing. So that brings us to the big question, doesn't it? If people are really that valuable, how on earth do companies find these superstars in the first place? And just as importantly, how do they convince them to stay? Well, that, my friends, is exactly what the staffing process is all about. Okay, here's our game plan for today. It's nice and simple. First, we'll talk about why people are a company's real superpower. Then we'll get into the staffing master plan, the great talent search, and how they find the one. After that, it's time to level up with training, and finally, a super quick exam recap. Ready? Cello, let's begin.
Right, first up, the staffing master plan. I want you to think about it like this. Every great cricket team, right, needs a really solid plan for choosing its players. Well, staffing is exactly that, but for a business. It's the company's own game plan for building a truly winning team.
So, what's the textbook definition you need to know? Staffing is the management function of 1, filling the positions in a company, and 2, making sure they stay filled with the right people. Or, if you want the super simple version you can write in your exam, it's just putting people to jobs. See? Easy peasy. Now, have a look at this. This slide shows the entire journey of staffing from start to finish. It all begins with estimating manpower needs. That's just a fancy way of saying, how many people do we need? Then it moves to recruitment, selection, and placement, getting the right person in the right seat. After that, you have training, and finally, performance appraisal, which is just checking how they're doing. Now, for your exams, the most crucial parts, the ones you absolutely have to know, are these 3 in the middle: recruitment, selection, and training. So let's focus right there. Okay, let's dive into our next section, which I like to call the great talent search. Your textbook, of course, just calls it recruitment. I want you to think of it like a huge movie audition, a big casting call where the company is searching far and wide for talented people to join its team. It's exciting. Now listen carefully. The goal of recruitment isn't to choose someone. Not yet. The goal is to attract as many people as possible to apply for the job. We want to create a big pool of candidates to choose from. I mean, it makes sense, right? The more people who apply, the better the chance of finding that perfect person. That's why we call recruitment a positive process. We're inviting everyone to come on in. Now, Bakas, please pay close attention. This slide, this is a 5-star, super-duper important topic for your exams. So, where do companies find people? Well, from 2 main places. First, internal sources. That means looking inside the company family, maybe for transfers or promotions. And second, external sources, which is looking outside in the big wide world through advertisements, campus placements, and websites like Naukri.com. So, why would a company look inside first? Well, just imagine you're working really hard, and you know there's a chance you could get promoted. You'll be super motivated to do your best, won't you? Exactly. It's a huge morale booster. Plus, it's cheaper, it's faster, and the person already knows the company culture. It's a total win-win. But, sometimes a team needs some fresh ideas, some new energy, what we often call new blood. That's when you go for external recruitment. This brings in new perspectives, gives you a much wider choice of candidates, and it can even spark a little healthy competition that pushes everyone to do better. All right, so recruitment gave us a huge pool of applicants. Fantastic. Now it's time for the really tricky part, finding the one. This is the selection process. If recruitment was the open audition call for everyone, then selection is the final screen test where we have to choose our star. Now, here's a really crucial point for your exams, so listen up. Selection is the opposite of recruitment. In fact, we call it a negative process. And why is that? It's because its main purpose is to eliminate or reject the candidates who are not the right fit until we are left with only the very best one for the job. We're filtering people out, not bringing them in. And this slide just illustrates that process perfectly. I want you to think of it like a video game with many levels. A big group of applicants enters at level 1. They go through different stages, screening, tests, interviews. But at each stage, some people are eliminated. Only the true champion, the one who clears all the levels, makes it to the very end to get that job offer. So, what are some of these levels? Well, one of them often involves tests. For instance, an intelligence test is to check how quickly you can learn. An aptitude test checks your potential to learn new things. A personality test looks at your personal qualities, like your emotional maturity. Then there's a trade test, which measures the skills you already have for the job. And finally, an interest test helps the company find out what you're truly passionate about.
Fantastic. We've found our superstar, and they've joined the company. But is the job done? Oh, not at all. Now it's time for them to level up. This is where training and development come in. The company now has to invest in making its best people even better. Okay, let's pause for a quick pop quiz. This is a very, very common exam question, and it often confuses students. So, what do you think is the main difference between training and development? Take a second to think about it. Got an answer in your head? Okay, let's find out.
And there you have it. This table makes it crystal clear. Here's the most important thing to remember, my dears. Training is job-oriented. It teaches you the skills you need for your current role. Development, on the other hand, is career-oriented. It's about your overall growth for the future. So, training is for now, development is for the long run.
So how do companies actually do this training? Well, there are two main ways, as you can see here. On-the-job training, which is exactly what it sounds like, learning while doing, at the actual workplace. And off-the-job training, which is learning before doing, usually somewhere away from the office or factory floor. Let's look at some popular on-the-job methods. You have apprenticeship, where you learn a skill under a master worker, like a young electrician learning from a senior one. Then you have internship, which many of you might do after college to get that first bit of practical experience. And there's job rotation, where you're moved between different jobs to get a really good, broad understanding of the whole company. And what about off-the-job methods? Well, you have the classic classroom lecture, just like in school. You have case studies, where you analyze real business problems. And there's a very interesting one called Vestibule training. This is where a dummy workshop is set up with the exact same machinery so employees can practice and make mistakes in a safe place before they go to the actual busy factory floor. It's so clever. And just like that, we're at the end. So let's do a super quick recap of the most important points for your exam. This is the big picture that you need to lock into your memory. So to sum it all up, what is staffing? It's not just about filling an empty chair. Not at all. It is the secret sauce, the magic formula for building a company's dream team. It's about finding people who are like superpowers for the company and then helping them grow and become even more powerful. And I'll leave you with this final thought to think about. If you, yes you, started your own company tomorrow, maybe a cool new startup, would you recruit internally or externally first? And more importantly, why would you make that choice? Just think about it. All the very, very best for your exams, my dear students. You are going to do wonderfully. Bye for now.